Yeah, good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Data and AI Virtual Session, Volume 1, hosted by the Data Analytic Group. We are thrilled to have you all here. Today's session is all about the latest in Microsoft Fabric, Copilot, intelligent agents, and Azure AI. Let's begin with our first speaker, Ms. Bhargavi. She is Microsoft MVP and Cloud Automation Specialist who will talk about building intelligent agents using Copilot Studio and Azure AI. Over to you, Bhargavi.
Thank you, Navya. Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining today's session. And in this session, we would be seeing about building intelligent agents with Copilot Studio and Azure AI, wherein we would be seeing about something like how we can develop the agents with the help of the studio, Copilot Studio, and which is a low code, no code tool. And we would also be comparing the same on how we can leverage that or how we can develop it more further with the help of the Azure AI. And we would also be seeing the differences between Copilot Studio and Azure AI so that you would get an understanding of how we can, what we can use for which purposes, something that you would be seeing by the end of the session. So, before we get started, let me introduce myself. I am a data analyst and a community mentor, and I am also a Microsoft MVP and a Microsoft certified trainer. And I do speak in various sessions globally, and I do write articles and blogs at my free time. And this is my LinkedIn QR code. You can get in touch with me when you are when when you have some doubts, post the session and I would be happy to help you out. And I am so sorry about my sore throat today, and uh, I mean, please apologize with that. So, the agenda for today's session would be the Copilot Studios overview, and then we would also be seeing about the prompt engineering basics. And we would also be seeing how we can integrate the AI builder inside the Copilot Studio, which is something like how does the Copilot Studio work with other low code no code tools, and how you can make most use of it is something that we would be seeing. And then we would also be seeing the orchestrating logic with this without the help of the code, like how you can do an end-to-end agent development without even a single code being done from your side is something that we would be seeing. And and post that, as we discussed, we would be also comparing the same with AI Foundry. And if at all you don't understand anything about the theory part, we would be taking up the demo part of the same and we would be walking you through on what we had covered via the theory part inside the demo part as well. And at last, I would be taking up the Q&A questions. So let's get started. As we all know, like AI agent is something that which is happening or which is blooming around the globe, and without it, something like we would not be able to proceed further is something that we are dependent on. So, what are AI agents? Maybe an intro of it, and then I would go and seek up the next part of it. So, AI agent are something like which would be giving you up the details which are needed. Like, it acts as a smart services which would be helping you up um, in designing the advanced AI models, and then you would be able to have the models being developed for you with algorithms being responding effectively effectively and then you can do the task automation being done from your side, like uh, to make it very simple. um, think of it something like a chatbot that can answer your questions by thinking itself, and by thinking itself, and it can act based on the part that what you had given on. So it can do something like it can understand what's happening, like what you are reading, uh, like reading a message or listening to your voice, and then decide based on the task that what you had given on, and it would act in a way that it would be given an instruction to do on. Like to give an example, like what we had discussed over here, like task automation, you can book a cab. Like every day you have to go to your office. For that, every day you have to book a cab to your office at 6 p.m., and then by 8:30 a.m. is something that you would be doing on a regular basis. For that, the AI agent can help you out in building the whole solution of automation. Like it would be understanding your need, and then it can open up the cab app, and then it would be defining up the available rides, and then book the cab for you instead of you sitting and doing the whole thing. So this is the whole about the AI agent. And we know like AI agent can be developed with the help of like code and other things. Like now, why do we need no code to auto code? So no code to auto code is something like uh, no code is actually a part where you don't have to code at all. And now, when it comes for auto coding, you don't have to code at all. Like, say in an example, like make a website with button that shows a welcome message or something that you are giving up, and that whole part gets generated, like all the part like html, css, javascript code which are being done at the back end will be developed, and that would be given up for you. And all those will be kind of like generated by itself, and it would be given up for you. And like it is being used in platforms already. Like we had been using up the low code no code tools like power apps, power automate, and earlier if you had been familiar with power virtual agent, and now had turned up into the copilot studio. So that's something that we would be covering on. And this would be something like more useful for the persons who are doing more logic related than something like the more coding part, I would say. Like when you want to build the solution as a whole, and you want to have the smart automation being done for you, then auto code would be playing a major role for you. And now coming into the major part for today's session, wherein it's one of the auto code part that what we had discussed so far. So, Copilot Studio is something like where when you want a whole agentic chatbot or agentic virtual assistant being done for you, and without even a single line of code being written for it. If you had been familiar with Dialogflow CX or Dialogflow ES, or if you are been a developer inside the AI Foundry itself, then obviously you need some kind of like coding which needs to be done in the regular way of Python or Java or C Sharp. So you need some kind of coding that needs to be done so that you would be customizing that particular chatbot for yourself, right? So that's where this low code, no code tool, which is the Copilot Studio, plays a major role on. Wherein what you can do is like you can tailor your own Copilot with the specific needs by just giving the prompt, and it would be generating the backend flows, and then backend all other things which are being needed for you, and it would be giving up the data for yourself, like the whole chatbot being developed for you. And what it has an advantage is like it connects hundreds of data sources, and you would be able to have the various answering queries like with the help of the workflow. And it also allows you to connect with Power Apps, Power Automate, and then via the REST API, you can connect it to different different channels. Either you can connect it to Teams, or either you can connect it to AI Foundry. So there are different ways that you can explore on. So this is all about the Copilot, like Copilot Studio, wherein you can develop the whole chatbot or virtual assistant by yourself, and this falls under the Microsoft 365 context. So, as we discussed, it just writes the whole virtual assistant for you with the help of the prompt, right? So, for that, you should be knowing about the prompt engineering so well. So, how do you write? I mean, what is prompt engineering, and how do you write the prompt engineering skills to be so well? Like prompt engineering, prompting is something like when you are instructing the AI model to do something, then that particular part is called as the prompting. And when you play around with different kind of prompts, then that whole part comes under the prompt engineering. And what happens is like when your data is more precise, like when your prompt is more precise, then your results would be as such. Like how well is your data, is your result, I would say, like directly proportional of it. And that can be taking an input of text to text, and then text to image, text to audio, text to video, and that can be of anything. Like prompt engineering is not something new nowadays, and there is many roles which had came in, like generative AI, and then prompt engineer is as such a role. And prompt engineering is something which had bloomed in, I would say. Already it's it's in place. And maybe just an understanding of it is something that I had added over there. Now, coming to the architecture of Copilot Studio, for the architecture part of the Copilot Studio, you have four different layers inside the Copilot Studio. One is the creator layer, second one is the Copilot and plugins, third one is the plugin discovery and execution, fourth is the data and AI layer. So let's take in an example, like you are giving in the prompt, and that prompt something like you have to develop a chatbot for your HR related works, and that has to answer you back based on the query. For which, what you would be doing, you would be writing in a query, or you would be writing in a prompt, right? So that prompt is being passed here. And when that prompt is being created, you would be able to have the copilot and plugins part being called, wherein prompt plugins and then topic plugins and different kind of plugins is something that it would be checking on. So when what is there inside that prompt plugins and topic plugins is like when you want something like a template being generated for you, or when you have already a template and you want to use that, then you would be going and, I mean, it would be checking on the prompt plugins or topic plugins, and then it would be responding you back on the same. And then what happens is like you would be able to have the plugin discovery and execution. Something like when you wanted to have the when you had consumed the template by yourself, then it would be taking up the data or metadata which are needed for it from the registry of the plugin, and it would be mapping all those details which are being into the place, and then it would be giving you back the result based on the same. And all that happens with the help of like the data AI layer, which has been added here with, which is something like it can be your Dataverse, which has been backed up with prompt plugins and then topic plugins and different kind of plugins. That what it refers here will be stored under the data AI layer, so that you can go ahead and consume it. Or something like you wanted to have the automate part being added, like your uh, your workflow has to be created, and that workflow needs to have the various part being done. Then obviously you need something like you want a RPA tool to get in touch with you, and from there you can use those things, right? So that's where the automate part plays a major role on. And when you want some kind of like solution which is needing the Salesforce plugin, then obviously you can go ahead and use the Salesforce plugin as well. And what happens is like whenever you are trying to call the different kind of the for Power Automate alone, what you would be seeing is like you would be able to have the Dataverse API, which is something like when you wanted to have the custom API, or when it's already been there inside the Dataverse Q&A API, then you would be having the different kind of the execution layer being mapped for you, and from there it would be taking up the different kind of the AI layer, and it would be giving you up the result based on the same. And then when the result are being given, it would then give back to the Copilot Studio, wherein it's the outer layer that what we see over there, like topic and then uh, connector, different kind of flow that what we have. So this is the overall architecture of the Copilot Studio. Uh, I guess, I mean, I guess I made it clear, but if at all you are not getting it at this moment, please wait for a minute and we would be going back to the demo and we would be seeing, so that you would get to know, or I would correlate the same inside the demo part as well, so that you would be able to understand that even more better. So, as part of the next thing, we would be seeing is like the demo, which is like we would be so what we would be what I mean as a first thing, what we should be doing is like we should be logging in inside the copilotstudio.microsoft.com. And when you had logged in, either you can choose about 30 days of free trial, or you can have the M365 license, and then you can log in here. Or there are different ways, like you can have the uh you can have the different ways of having the Copilot Studio access as well. Like you if you are just starting with Copilot Studio, then start with the free trial version, and then you can go ahead and use the same. Now that you had logged in inside the Copilot Studio. So this is the page where we had saw the first part, like the creation layer is something that we saw, right? So this is the part that what uh we had been seeing on. Like you will be able to give your prompts here, and then you would be able to have the plugins being attached, and all other things that what you want can be added uh, in here. Like, say, in an example, I am taking in the same example which has been prompted here, so that we would be able to understand that better. Now, I would take that up right now, and then we would go back and we would be seeing the different uh, ways of how do we integrate the same inside the different example. Now that I am taking in the same example, which should be something like help employees submit expense reimbursement request is something that we had been giving it. And then what we would be doing is like when we click on the prompt, it would be like giving you the configurations which are being needed. Like it would be giving you on what kind of the result that what it would be expecting, and then what it would be doing on the right side. Like you can have the instruction being added by it, right? So you can have those things. Either if you are fine with all these things, you can go ahead and create it. But for now, we are skipping to configure it. What we would be doing as part of the configuration is like you can change your name, like expense tracker. So when you change your name, you can observe here that it's getting changed automatically, and then you would also be giving the description on what it has to do, like what it would be doing, and then instruction that what it has to do step by step. So how do you define an instruction? Is like when you put a hyphen mark, and then when you start doing it, then obviously it takes up the whole thing that what it has to do on. And then suggested prompt is like when you start execution, then obviously it gets started with some kind of conversation or prompts, right? So those kind of prompts is called as the suggested prompts, and you would be able to give that here, or when you have some kind of knowledge base which has been there, then you would be giving all those things here. And when you click on create, then the whole thing gets created there, like the expense tracker chatbot or your virtual assistant gets created there, or the agentic thing gets created here. Now that you can observe that your model, I mean, you can observe that it had used the GPT-4o version model. And if at all you need to change your model, you can go ahead and change the whole thing here, like inside the orchestration part, and then you can save on. Like since our agent was provisioning, then it would be, I mean, it had not been available. Now it would be available. Maybe I would go back and I would show you again. Now, all those which we had given earlier, which is something like you have the instruction, and then there is a difference between the instruction and the description that what we had given. Like you have two different things, right? So description is something like you have to say what does this whole uh, expense tracker does, maybe in a brief level. And instruction is something like you are instructing the model on what to do next, is something that you would be briefing it out, and then it should be following up the steps, is something that you would be giving under the instruction. So that's where the whole difference of description and instruction plays a major role on. And once you are done with all these things, you have maybe I would go from here so that you would get that. So you have different things here, right? Like knowledge, and then you have tools, and then when you go on with agent, then when you go on with tools, and you go on with topics, you have different things here, right? So these are the plugins that what we had spoke about. If you had a chance to remember what we had saw over the PPT, maybe I would take that up again. So you have this particular plugins that what we had saw here, right? Like topic plugins. So that is something that which is been added here. Like your 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 topic plugins, which is so basic, is being added by here. And when you go on with system, I mean there are two different topics which has been given, and from that, when you choose on with system, then it gets the system conversation being added, and you can customize your own topics as well from the plugin that what you had chosen as well. So those all are very common. Like when you give hi, then obviously it should be greeting you back as something that every single agent or every single virtual assistant would be playing a major role on, right? So those all are part of the plugin that what you had chose over there, and from there you would be getting back the result, and it would be stored inside the topics plugin. I mean it would be referring the topics plugin, and that topic plugin would be going back and using the various kind of the ways that what it needs, and it would be giving you back the result to the UI. So that's where the whole system works on. And then when you want that particular plugin needs to be connected with different kind of channel, then here is that, like when you want to publish it to different channels like Teams, and then when you want to publish it to the SharePoint or different things, then you can have the publish. I mean, option being available for the Teams and other things. So you can go ahead and choose that. Now, I assume that it's making clear. Now that we will go step by step, and then you would be able to get that. Now, let us move on with knowledge base so that you would be able to get the knowledge base option being added for you. Like knowledge base are something that when you want to have the customized part being added for you, then obviously you would be going for the knowledge base. Say in case like you have a you have your own data and it should be returning you back with the result of it, then it will be something like you would be using the knowledge base here, and it should be returning you back the result. And that falls under something like you can have the public website or SharePoint or AI search or Dataverse, or that can be of anything, or even when you select a file and from your desktop or your downloads or anything from your local, then you would be able to browse that and you would be able to add that here. And then when you want the different kind of the I mean, there are different kind of suggestions which are being given as well. Like these are some things that what I had added earlier, and when we want that particular thing to be given, then we can use that particular. Maybe I would be going in deep of a uh, different use case wherein we would be discussing about the online shopping assistant, and then we would be seeing on over there. It's just an overview of how does the Copilot Studio works, and we saw or we understood like how does it work. So for tools, it's something like when you connect it via the via Power Automate or Excel, or when you want to that to the Teams, then you have the different things being added here, right? So the search dynamics, sorry. So you have the MCP being added as well, wherein you can connect your MCP server directly inside the Copilot Studio, and from there you would be able to have the different things being given for you. And then um, there are n number of connectors which are being available, I would say. Like when you are using the premium version of it, then obviously you would be able to get all those things and you would be able to add that over here. And also gives you up with suggestion. Like we had given it saying that it should be reimbursing on what it needs, right? So it had given us three different things, like soft one and then workstem HK, workstem AU. So these are the ways that what regularly people gets connected to on for this particular use case. So when you click on that particular one, you would be able to have the connection being established. Like when you click on with create new connection, you would be able to have that over there. And one thing is like whatever the sign in that what you are doing in over there, like inside the Copilot Studio should be the same that what you use under the different tools that what you are using as well. So we just need to be aware of it, and we would be able to add that over there. And um, now that we are clear of one thing, like how do we add a single agent? Now, when we wanted to have a multiple agent being added for your use case, say in case like you have a scenario which we would be seeing in as a next part, like I would be taking you and walkthrough of that as well. Like you have a scenario which would be uh, acting in as a shop assistant tool. Then I let me integrate the same here as such. So what we would be doing is like we would be acting as a multi agent, which should be having the two different parts. One is like answering the queries based on the SQL which has been there, or your backend part which has been connected. And second part, what it does is like to make that particular database being updated, you need a separate workflow that needs to be created, which should be running and which should be updating, or whenever that particular product is being added or product is being sold, then obviously you have to come and enter inside the database, else it won't be updated, right? So those kind of those kind of scenarios are being put into the second part of the agent. So there are two different agent which works in over there, and the first work agent, this is the first agent that what we had created, and now we are about to create an agent that what we had did over here. So when you click on with the different agent, what it would be doing is like you would be able to have the um, so, when will this be used is something that you have given here, right? So, that would be based on the description whenever it's been called on. So, you have to decide on when that's been called, or when that needs a description and then instruction, all those different kind of things that what you did for the first set of the agent creation, then you would be doing the same set of the agent creation again And from there, it would be deciding on and it would be giving you back the result based on the same. Like the same steps, knowledge and then tools, all the same, all those steps remains the same, but it works in as agent inside an agent, which is like a multi-agent, and from there it could be able to choose the different kind of the different kind of the ways that what it can do on. Now, let me go back to the one that what we had did over there. Like, so this is this is another example that what I had chosen to do on. What we would be doing is like we will be having the shopping assistant being given for us. Like, assume that the same example that what we had discussed earlier, you are running in a small online shop, and whenever you are being given to the user, you have to go back and check your database and you have to return back saying that it is being available or not, or you can transfer the whole call to the customer or your product deliverable person, and from there they would be connecting each other and they would be able to handle that. This is a simple example wherein what you would be doing is like you would be able to have the orchestration or your instruction being given for you. Like, you are a product assistant agent is something that we are being defining here. And whenever you given something like a triple hash, what it would be doing is like it would be taking up the various things, like when that particular part of the whole instruction on what it has to do gets complete, then this thing will be something like it would be based on the workflow, or it would be based on the step that what it has to decide on, and it would be deciding on itself on what particular instruction that what it has to do. It's not something part of the regular instruction that what you provide on. Rather, it's something like you can have the triple hash being added, and from there you can have the you can have the workflow or anything if you have inside your agent, then you can get it connected here. So for which I had added two different database, two different knowledge base. One is like Excel, which would be having in the detail, like maybe I would be downloading the same and I would be showing you as well. So these are the ways that I had added here. Like, the knowledge base would be having the different kind of the details which are being available and is shipping available and all those details that what we have. And then when you go on to the next part, which is like the shopping simple shop assistant one, which is being needed, then what you would be doing is like you will be giving in, or you will be giving in the instruction inside it. Like, you would be giving in the instruction for it. So the coffee mug cost 2.99 in stock, and then it would be displaying all the different kind of the flow that what it has to do. And once it completes the first part, then obviously it would be going on doing the next part is something that you would be defining on. Read and ask how you can help, understand the product user is interested in, check the availability, show the product details, and if at all no offer, then notify the admin is something that we had given on. And if you don't have anything, if they want something like bulk order more than 5 units, then obviously you should be escalating it to the product owner, and from there the user would be able to handle that. Sample prompts would be something like, can you show me the coffee mugs? Is the scented candle available? All those different kind of things has been that what we had given for training here. And once we had uploaded those things, you would be able to have your status being under ready. Now let me show you an example of how does it work. Now, when we had given the high, what happens here is like when it goes to the topic. So everything that what you type in over here will be going to the topic, right? So that's where the plugin has been configured as a next step when you see in the architecture, right? So that's something that we would be taking up. And when you click in the high, so as part of the next step, can you tell me the price of 5 coffee mug and will it be available for shipping? So what it would be doing is like it would be checking under both of those things whether the knowledge base is being updated, and it would be returning you back with the result based on the way that what it would be getting on. The price for 5 handmade coffee mugs is 1495, 299 each, wherein we never coded anything. We just gave in the knowledge base at the back end, and it started coming up here. And they are currently in stock and available for shipping. Is there anything that what you can assist with? Now that it has to now that we had given something which has been given, since it's a bulk order, what it has to do, it has to handle or it has to go back to the user, like your order request for 5 coffee mugs has been forwarded to the shop admin for processing. The total is thank you for your order is something that they had been notified on. And when they had been notified, then it should be getting back the details. Now, assume that, uh, I mean, it's just a conversation that what you had did. You never collected any information or you never collected any details about the user. And what will happen, the shop admin would be getting something like a you had been given an order of uh, 5 coffee mugs by anonymous user is something that they would be getting, right? So to avoid those, what we should be getting is like we should be giving in the name and other things being uh, added here. Like now, can you understand the whole thing of how does it work? Like you would be whenever you given the order, then obviously it would be taking up the back end part of how does it work, and then it would be giving you back with the result of the flow that what it had been designed, the instruction that what it had been working on. So those kind of things that what it would be dependent on. Now let us go back and let me look at the agent. Agent. Now when we go and look on for this particular thing, then it would be giving you up with the availability of the herbal oil. Activity is something like your past conversation that what you have, and analytics is something that when your published virtual assistant acts so well, and um, how well is your virtual assistant playing a major role on. Now that you want to connect it via the Power Automate and other things, so what you would be doing is like you have the tools which is like the get response details. What you would be doing is you would be able to connect it via the Microsoft Forms, which is that it should be getting you up with the result based on the way that what it should be doing. So form response ID is automatically being filled, but what it should do is like it should be returning up with the details which are being needed. So when you say it as thank you, then it should be returning you up with a response which has already been ordered, and it already said a thank you because um, when you go back and when you look at the whole instruction that what we had provided here, it says thank you and exit, right? So it should be, I mean, as I had told earlier, you will be giving the instruction here, and then if at all your workflow is deciding on which part it should be taking, then it should be deciding on receive information from user with product information, field name, username, and then it should be deciding either it should decide on say thank you and exit, or either it should receive on information which are being needed. If at all you need it as a mandatory, then you should be adding it as part of the next line that what you have. So I hope the whole session made you clear with all different kind of the things that what we had discussed on. Now that when you want to connect it via the different platforms, then that's possible too. I am now left over with few things like how do we differentiate the same with Copilot Studio and Foundry. So the Copilot Studio and Foundry, like when you want a low code no code support, then Copilot Studio will be helping you up with it. And AI Foundry is something like you have to have the Python SDK, and then you would be able to have the whole development being done. And when it comes for Copilot Studio, it's something like built in, and you will be able to customize it, but you would not be able to have the full control of what you had developed on. And um, the developer control will also be limited in case of the Copilot Studio, and it fits in a case for the business users, like the scenarios that what we had saw, like a simple scenario, I would say. Whether you are doing in a repeated task of whatever the work that what you are about to do, then Copilot Studio will be having in a having in a major role on what you have to do on. But in the same case of AI Foundry, wherein you can have the full custom control being added, like you can develop in a full uh, full virtual assistant on yourself. Like say in case of you have to have the agent agent model being generated by yourself, and that model would be integrated, and that needs to get acted on inside the AI Foundry, then obviously it's possible because it has the full control being added. inside the AI Foundry. And when you want to have some kind of like RAG, and then when you want some kind of uh, multi-agent or multi-model development being done, then AI Foundry plays a major role on it. Mm. So that's where the whole difference of Copilot Studio and AI Foundry uh, differs. Now that we had been discussing about AI Foundry, now you should be knowing in deep of what is AI Foundry, right? So AI Foundry is like where you will be able to have more than thousand. I mean, it not limited to 1,800. More than 1,800 models which are being available, and you can go ahead and use the models which are being needed, or you can also connect your own model which has been there and add it inside the AI Foundry, and from there you can get the evaluation, customization, governance, or your security being added, and different kind of things being done for you. And from that you would be able to have the various tasks being performed for you. uh, I'm just running because of the the time. So now when you are in confusion of which one to use, I would say something like when you have a intelligence being added, like your it's simple business process application or business process automations, then your Copilot Studio would be playing a major role on. And then when you want your AI integrations being added, like uh, a simple OCR tool that needs to be generated, or your PDF has to be generated with some data, and that has to be given to the user, or when you want some kind of the invoice that needs generated, then there are different AI builder which has been available, and you can go ahead and use that particular AI builder being added along with the Copilot Studio, with the help of the tools that what we had discussed so far. And when you have the premium version, you would be able to add that inside the Copilot Studio, and you would be able to proceed on further. Wherein, when you have the AI Foundry, I would say something like when you want multi agent orchestration, or when you want to customize your whole chatbot for yourself, like you are working in a service based company wherein you would be supporting different kind of the customer, and all those needs a different kind of uh, answers based on the knowledge base, then you would be going on with AI Foundry, so that it would be helping you out with different solutions being given for you. And I would say, if you want a UI to be much better, what you can do is like you can integrate your AI Foundry model that what you had developed, and you would be able to get the API out from the AI Foundry, right? So you would be getting the API along with the key, and you can use the same thing inside your Copilot Studio and make it work even more better by integrating it with the REST API and other things which are being available under the Copilot Studio. Now, in short of time, I would be taking up few question and answers which are being part of this session. If at all I am unable to take up any of your question, I would be able to answer your questions via LinkedIn if you connect. If you connect with me post the session, and I would be happy to help you out in answering them. Okay, let me go back to the chat and see if there are any questions.
Guys, if you have any questions, please post it. Bhargavi, I have posted your LinkedIn handle as well.
Okay.
Thank you so much, Bhargavi, for giving a wonderful session. Thanks for doing this.
Thank you, Rajendra, for hosting, and thanks all for joining today's session and making it wonderful. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Bhargavi. Thank you.
Thank you, Bhargavi, for the insightful session. Your guidance on Copilot Studio and Azure AI was truly valuable.
Thank you so much.